So this is engaging an argument from evidence. This is a part of the Future Focused Conference. And I've already gone through slides 2 and 3 that provide background information. Okay, so once again, we've gone through the background information. We have found ourselves to slide 4. So I need to put us in breakout rooms. And in your breakout room, you're going to be working as a team. So jot down the room number you are sent to, just so you make sure that you're going to need that in future settings. And while you're there, just 5 minutes, think about what information you currently have from slides 2 and 3, what information you believe you may need. Again, you can just jot that down on a notebook or just think about it out loud. Okay, so now, there we go, breakout rooms. 3 rooms. I'm going to assign automatically. Okay, and create. There we go. And it's just 5 minutes with a 30-second callback. Okay. All right. I'll see you in 5 minutes. So we're now going to do what I call a chat storm. I'm going to have you enter into the chat some ideas you may have come up with or questions you may have come up with, but don't hit enter right away. Just go ahead and type something in the chat box and then wait. And then we have a couple new participants. They'll be able to see what was shared in during the breakout rooms. Okay, hopefully that was enough time to type an idea or a question. It's in the chat. So on the count of 3, so 3, 2, 1, enter. Only 2. One question was, does the mayor's office have an average usage of water for government buildings in the area? That's a good question. I was a bit late, my apologies. No worries, Michael. You would need to know if there's a difference between weekday usage and weekend usage. Good point. If you only take the average of 40 minutes per day, it may not be very precise. And then weekday and weekend. Okay, good. That's what we have so far. I'll wait another second or 2 to see if we have anything else pop in the chat. Okay, all right. So it sounds like we're on the right track. I'm going to share my screen again. They keep popping in and out. So now we're on slide, we just did 5, a chat storm. So by all means, feel free to steal that if you want to share that with your kids and do a chat storm. Slide 6. So this is breakout room session 2. So you're in the same groups. I will need to assign, I think we have the 2 new participants to a room. So you have information on what aerators are, because that was mentioned in the background information. And then you have some data that you're going to need to analyze. So roughly we're in groups of 3. There might be a group of 4. There's 3 pieces of information there. So you'll have 10 minutes to go through those either individually, or you can look at them all at once as a group. Totally your call. All right, so I need to go back. Come on, gotta wait for this to pop up. Oh, I'll just stop sharing and go this direction. Breakout rooms. I need to recreate. And there we go, it looks better. Okay, change the time to 10 minutes with a 30-second callback. That all looks good. We're in a room. Okay, so once again, 10 minutes to go through what an aerator is and look at the data and see if you can make sense of the data. All right, I'll see you in 10. Okay, looks like we're all back. Just about. Yeah. Well, welcome back. So you've had a chance so far to go through the background information. You have met with your teammates. You had an information sheet on what the types of aerators. You had some data tables, some graphs to look through. Hopefully this is helping you start to kind of form an answer to what the mayor is asking you to do, which is construct your argument. which is going to be a claim, your argument, or your evidence. And then I like the phrasing justification. So how do you justify what you've presented? So we'll take a little quick debrief. Any questions, any comments, any concerns before we move to the next phase? Using my wait time. Okay, all right, well, let me do this one more time. So we're now on slide 7, constructing your argument. Oops, wrong one. There we go. So in breakout rooms, the same group, you're going to go to the North Bend City Council Padlet and construct your rough draft argument. So on that Padlet, I can show you here because I'm sharing my screen. It's going to look just like this. You have the background information already there. You have the mayor's ask, and you have the directions. Please make sure you remember to include your group number, which is your breakout room. That way we know who's who and who'sville. Okay. And you'll have 10 minutes to do that. I would say probably have 2 members helping and then the 1 member typing, just so we know, keep things organized in the Padlet. All righty. Any questions before I send you on your way? All right, I'm going to take that as a no. Okay, breakout rooms. Let's see here. Okay, and open all rooms. Almost gone. So Patrick, do you have access to the slideshow? I can't hear you if you're talking. Patrick, you need to unmute yourself.
I was late joining, but I think I can find it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the Zoom chat. There it is right there for you. And we've, just a quick debrief, we've gone through the background information. They did a quick kind of what I know, what I wonder as a breakout group. They were just looking at the data, which is on slide 6, I believe it is. There's an article on what the aerators are, and then the data sheets. There's some data tables and some graphs. And now they're in their groups forming their arguments. So I can send you to group 3. It looks like they need a member to help them. All right, so I'll see you in 8.5 minutes.
Do you need me anywhere?
I don't think so. I think I'm good to go.
Okay, I'm just popping back and forth as you're getting people
Thank you,
in
Trent.
both places, so.
I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, we are back. So once again, just doing a check-in. How are things going? Thumb up, thumb sideways, thumb down. Couple thumbs up, couple smiles. I went into the Padlet. I noticed there were 2 arguments, so it looked like we're missing one of the groups. No big deal, just more or less, that's just for us to look to see how other people are forming their argument. Okay. Any questions, comments, or concerns at this time?
If we did this in the classroom, how long would you spend with the students on each section?
That's a great question. The first part we did where I was wanting to get ideas out, we've done that in Science Fellows. That was the scientist circle, where we actually formed the half moon. I have up to 3 sheets of paper, noticing, wonderings, and I always forget the third. Always forget the third. Anyway, there's a third sheet of paper. And basically, what do they know? What do they want to know? And what are
What have
some
they
questions
learned?
what have they learned? What are some
Mhm.
questions they may have? And they have all everything they could possibly think of on stickies. And I have 3 different colors of stickies. Each color coordinates with one of the posters. And we go through the half moon with the kids, and they go through their list until it's exhausted, but it's just one at a time, back and forth. So if I have 3 and you have 8, I will have exhausted mine after 3 rounds. And then other people will have 5 and 6 and 7, then we get to your 8th. And while you are posting stickies or having the students post their stickies, the teacher, I'll start clustering them, and they'll start noticing the clusters because I'm looking for themes.
Mhm.
And then I might even have them start calling out words to indicate the themes that they are seeing. Based on the age of student, either you can use your Sharpie and write the theme above the cluster, or you can have them grab the Sharpie and write the theme. And then I actually put those off to the side of the classroom, and I refer to those throughout the unit of study. So whenever a question comes up, if we've answered it, if we've addressed it, I'll go to the board and take the sticky off. If there are things up there that, oh, we talked about this, someone knew about this going in, I'll start addressing those stickies as we go. It's a great way to let every student have voice, because I was kind of in my safe zone. I got to write out all my thoughts on stickies, and then we're all together shoulder to shoulder. And as I go, I just kind of repeat what's on my sticky. So I get a chance to vocalize my thoughts. We all get to see everyone's thoughts. And then also, it's like my thoughts get justified or recognized throughout the process of the unit of study, because more often than not, you're going to get to most of them, or it could be kind of an area of wonder for you when you get to the end. There are all these other things on tangents you could take to further study if you wanted to. So that usually is at least half a period of class, like 30 to 45 minutes just to do that, to set them up, go through the process, get the stickies, go through the themes, get all the posters, get the posters off to the side, and then kind of let them know what's going to happen next. After that, the analyzing data, you might have to set up scaffolds based on the age group. And I just chose, to be perfectly honest, I found this data and I had to do quite a bit of some chemistry. So I had to work the numbers so that they were more easily digestible, let's say, because you never know what level of crowd you're going to get. So I went for stuff that's easily accessible for all. And so I had to do a lot of scaffolds for you all, just so you can get through it quick and easy in 5 to 10 minutes. Again, based on the age group, I could have, if this was a chemistry class or if this was physics, I would have just given you the numbers as I found them and say, you guys do the math. You make them all digestible. I would say the numbers as I presented probably could go down to about 5th grade, maybe again with more assists. If you go below that, you can find some data, but it might be more in, it's hard to find data, to be honest, as you go down to like K2 and 3, 4. But sometimes it could just be, it could be pictures, and they're just going with observations and that sort of thing. And then to analyze that piece of it. So that also could be another half hour to 40 minutes. And then the forming the argument, that this rough draft form that I'm using, I've seen that done just simply on poster paper. Or if you want to use the technology, even in the classroom, have them go to Padlet and start posting their arguments on Padlet. What I'd really like, but we're limited on time, is I would like to have at least 10 arguments posted in Padlet, and then have each of you go to someone else's argument, click on it, and add a statement to it using some sentence stems that I'm going to introduce later on. So I noticed your data, but I disagree with. I like your justification, but ours was, just kind of, so they're kind of getting into that mode of a friendly challenge to kind of get that rebuttal and that debate going with the argument.
Very cool.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Next item is, let's see here. That's on, you'll notice slides 8 through 10. So I just put those in there. If there are tech issues, you can do the entire thing in the slide deck. So you could have students, instead of going to, they can be in their breakout room, but they just choose a slide. And then they type out their claim, evidence, and justification. And other groups can go into this slide and provide their rebuttal, their argument, or they could use the comment in Google Docs to add a comment off to the side of the slide. So that, again, I use that just in case there's tech issues. So we're going to skip over all of those and then go down here to slide 18. So now we're going to give our final draft, quote unquote, final draft. This has all been sped along quite hastily. You're going to go into Flipgrid, username CRESD113. It is case sensitive. And then you're going to click on record a response. And again, provide your, but you're going to state it this time. We are group 1. Here's our claim. Here's our evidence. Here's our justification. Your final draft of your argument. Okay. Just getting used to using a different platform. Kids love doing this because they put it on the camera and they all love doing TikTok. So it's kind of a TikTok-esque type thing to do. Okay. So stop sharing. Go back to my breakouts. Breakout rooms for 10 minutes. And we check on time. That's good to go. Open all rooms. Okay. All right, Rachel, I'm going to send you to room number 1. I'm going to do a quick check to see. We did have, nice, group 3 gave their recording. All right, we're making our way back. There we go. Okay, so we're all back. Again, quick debrief. I'm gonna do, I noticed one group did a recording. Any feedback, any comments, concerns about that step we just took? Recording yourself in Flipgrid. And if you are talking right now, you're muted.
We were just getting ready to record. We spent all that time planning out what we were going to say. We haven't recorded yet.
So Trin and I were just having a conversation while you were in your breakout rooms, and it was based on Diana's question about how long does this take? And so when this was originally created, it was meant to be kind of, again, a quick, easy, digestible means for adults to get through quickly, to get like the whole process down. But it's honestly about 5 30-minute sessions if you were to do this in like a face-to-face setting, and without giving away the result or the ending before we get there. If this was a true, no, if I say this, I'm going to give away the answer. So I'm not going to say it. We'll just wait till I get to the end. Okay, so now we're going to be on the next slide, which is, I'd like you to, if you haven't recorded yourself, we're going to go back to the breakout room. You can quickly record your argument. There's already there's actually 3 groups in there. 2 are from May. You can record your response to them. That's fine. So you're going to listen to their response, and then you can type your response, or you can record yourself giving a response to their argument. Now, before we do that though, one thing I supplied for you as just a nice little, in the slideshow, you'll know it mentions sentence stems on the critique and the arguments. So those sentence stems is going to be a Google Doc, and it just provides some ways of helping students get their sentence started. So I disagree with that because, and then they fill in the rest. We have the same data, but my justification was X, Y, and Z. So you're just kind of giving them, I would not give all 20 of these or however many there are to your students. I'd pick probably your top 4 or 5 or 6. I have seen teachers pick their top 6, laminate them, and there's 4 or 5 copies per desk or per little cluster of kids. And I've seen them actually grab their little stick of phrases and they'll look on it and say, and then they give the sentence stem. But then towards the end of the year, they're no longer, the cards are still there for them to access. They're no longer going to them. They've kind of grown accustomed to their own sentence stems to get things, to get that argument going. Okay. All right. So again, we're on slide 19. You're going to provide your critique. So you need to listen to a group and then provide some feedback. So let me stop share. Go back to the breakout room. And same groups. However, it's just 5 minutes. It's real quick with a 30-second callback. Okay, see you in 5. All right, welcome back. So we have a few more things to talk about or mention. Let me go back to sharing my screen here. Okay, so hopefully some were able to go in and provide a critique, at least a statement. The last slide that I have here is just a little reflective piece. So just in general, so what's some feedback from the groups? What do you think, just overall? I'm always curious to hear from you instead of talking all the time. I got a thumbs up.
Well, we critiqued the old videos that were in there, and the one that we watched was, the first one was like really short. They didn't really go through the claim or argument, or they didn't really go through anything, just some of the numbers, and that was it.
Okay.
And then the second one we watched was a little bit more organized, and they came out with the same. Diana, was it group 1 that came out with the same numbers as us?
I think it was a CR ESD group.
I think the second group where we watched was the same numbers as us, but their justification, we had a little bit more to that. Besides saving money, we said that we could use that money elsewhere in the city. So we just had the similar, but just an add-on.
Okay. Okay.
We really liked how the second group, the CR ESD group, mentioned that they're just focusing on one office, but if they recommend doing that for the whole city to make a bigger difference. So we like that part.
Okay, very cool. All right, anything else from the group? And right now I have you in thumbnail view, so I can only see 5 at a time.
One of the things we looked at is the ask was just looking at the one faucet in the mayor's office, and we noticed that other people were taking all 100 faucets. So then we were confused, going, "Are we doing the right thing?" So
it's okay to extrapolate. The data is provided. If you want to, go that step beyond what the mayor asked and go the whole city, that'd be fine. Because again, it'd be based on your argument to city council of the direction you want to go. Okay, anything else? So my question to the group, have we truly conducted an argument? And you'll notice, might be a little hint, I provided some teacher talk moves. And if I go to that tab, teacher talk moves are probing, pressing, some follow-ups, opening up the crosstalk, using more wait time. I've noticed with adults, wait time is about 12 seconds. If I wait 12 seconds, somebody will speak, hopefully, knock on wood. Revoicing, focusing. So again, I asked the group, and it's really, this is on me. Have I had you conduct an authentic argument based on what you're seeing from the teacher talk notes? And I can stop sharing. We can see each other in thumbnail.
So what's the question? I'm sorry. What were you asking?
So in this process that I had you go through, have I really conducted an authentic argument with you all as my students based on what you saw from the teacher talk notes?
I would say based on where I came into this on that you have,
Okay,
and I want to incorporate something that you said a little earlier is I would definitely have the laminated starters and
Okay.
kind of brush those around, have those ready for the kids. The kids love Flipgrid, but I like the way that you divided it into the rooms, taking each part of the argument. And in middle school, in 6th grade, we don't do the rebuttal, but it's fun to do that part. That's kind of the fun part, I think, of the argument process.
that's good to hear.
So, yeah, so those are just my takes as a latecomer, but
Okay. Okay, anyone else?
I don't really think it was an argument necessarily, at least from when I read your teacher talk or whatever, like I don't remember a whole lot of pressing. I think we did that to each other in our groups a little bit. But yeah, I don't see that like where the data say that, or I'm trying to find the other ones. Yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Okay, that's interesting, Kim. Does anyone else agree or disagree with Kim?
Plus, it's kind of hard to argue saving money.
I don't think that we really did have an argument because of the situation. I mean, all 4 of the groups, and I'm talking about the 2 groups here and the 2 groups in the Flipgrid,
Okay,
no one said no. We argued about how it would work maybe a little bit, but there wasn't someone who said, no, we shouldn't change.
that's interesting. So for it to be an argument, did someone have to say no?
No, but there has to be the possibility that someone is either going to play devil's advocate or come up with a different solution. We
Right.
all bought into it had to be these aerators at the first time. No other solutions were thought of or presented for us to think. Maybe.
Oh, I see. Because I presented the solution.
I'm not trying to put this on you,
Okay.
but
No,
when I want to have it in class, I want time for my students to go out and look and see, is there another way to do this
okay.
that could be possibly better, or is this the very best solution?
Got you. Okay, that's interesting. Anyone else want to add on to that? Mentally counting to 12. Well, anyway, I'll go ahead and stop us there, 4:15. So in my humble opinion, in a remote setting, I think we did the best we could to do an argument from evidence. It's very difficult to get kids to talk in a remote setting, and this is one way that I've noticed kids will talk. And sometimes the talk is just simply typing their response in a Padlet, but then there's also recording my response in a Flipgrid just to get them to do the posting and then to get them to read or listen to a posting and then respond to that. That's about as far as you can take the process. So it's kind of like, it's a nice, safe way of having an argument in a remote setting. In a literal setting, face-to-face in the classroom, what I was just doing with you folks on pressing, expanding, looking for other options, other ways we can take this, that was me in a quick and simple way of getting to use my teacher talk moves to get you all to talk more. And you're adults, you will talk more. In a class setting, face-to-face setting, when you're having the students give their claim evidence reasoning, and I notice many of you, based on my question, were forming an argument. Because I asked you a question, is this really an authentic argument? And then you made your claim, and then you're basing it with evidence. I think, Kim, you even went to like my teacher talk moves, well, you really weren't using blah, 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 blah. You're even giving evidence to support your claim. So it was my way of doing just a real quick example of how to use teacher talk moves to keep the groups talking. Oh, group one, that's interesting. Group two, what do you think about that? Group two, I was overhearing your data was different. How would you respond to group one? So it's just using those little cues to keep them talking. So it's not just simply, I give my post, I gave my claim, my evidence, my justification, you responded, and we're done. But just to kind of keep that conversation going so that they kind of see that, oh, I can have a different opinion. As long as I can justify it with some evidence, and they can disagree with me, they can agree with me, or like Laura was saying, we found a completely different solution. We went a different direction, you know, during our research period of time. Okay. All righty, let me do a quick check here. Okay. Well, before we go, any questions you have of me? You can put those in the chat, or you can just unmute.
I loved how you kept us engaged and working. And I'm a business ed teacher. I teach a lot of computer applications, and the students don't work together in groups as much. And I think this would be much more engaging for a high school student to be working in the small group and talking to their peers and interacting with the different software.
Good, that's good to hear.
Really enjoyed it.
I've noticed that like that 5 to 10 minutes, almost that sweet spot of, you can't really send people to a breakout room for half an hour. But
Yeah.
5 to 10 is like almost, you really got to get busy. I got to read this. There's 3 of us and there's 3 articles. I got to get reading on my article real quick. It's like, it's almost in that sweet spot of keeping them moving, even if it's the same thing, but you kind of come back, check in, go back into breakout, come back, check in, go back into breakout. I've done that with adults. It's like just 5 minutes. We call it speed dating. You keep going in and out, in and out. Keeps that engagement up, just as a sidebar. Anything else?